Good morning, and thank you for joining my channel. This is Engelgeist. My name is Daniel, and I am here doing my first round of monthly tarot predictive Tarotscopes for the prediction for the month of August of 2019. So those of you with the sun, moon, or rising sign in the sign of Sagittarius, this is your reading. If love comes up in the spread, then if your Venus is in Sagittarius, this may apply to you. It is a general reading for all the Sagittarius that the intention is general reading for all the Sagittarius that come along and watch this video. So it's going to be broad and just kind of give you an overview of what to expect in the month of August for the majority of you. Some of you it may resonate, some of you it may not. But feel free to leave me comments or questions in the comment section. Please hit the like button if you enjoy the reading. Excuse the thunder in the background. It's early morning here in Mexico, and we're having a bit of a thunderstorm rolling in, so I'm hoping that it holds at bay while I shoot this video, but who knows? Maybe the healing sounds of the rain and thunder will do you guys some wonder. And I didn't even mean to do that. That was like Dr. Seuss shit. Anyways, so let's see what Sag has ahead for them for the month of August of 2019. So, I'm going to take the cards and shuffle. Just give me one moment. Spirit, please give me the cards that best represent Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August of 2019. What will Sag be doing? Sun, Moon, and Rising. What will Sagittarius? What will they be looking at? How will they be feeling? I also do pick card videos, so please check those out. And I do a daily forecast in the morning. Feel free to tune into that. That just gives a general energy for all of the collective. It's not sign related. Happens every morning, 10 a.m. my time, which I believe is 8 a.m. Pacific Standard and 11 at the Eastern. I'm also available for private readings. And remember to check the description because after I upload the video, there is a theme song that I include after your reading to give you guys inspiration for the month if you're facing anything where you sort of need, I don't know, a little rally, a moment of rally, turn it up, turn it loud, listen to it loud and often throughout the month of August. So I feel like your guys' energy feels a little bit balanced. I mean, actually not even a little bit. It feels very grounded and balanced for the month of August. As I'm shuffling these cards, it's enough time there. I feel like there's a little bit of resistance, so we might have, some work ahead of us in the month of August, but it's not anything that the Sagittarius can't handle. When I say us and we also, it's a collective us and we in the sense that I am not a Sag, but I'll address you guys as if I am one of you, because I'm sort of feeling the energy for you. But it feels like clean, and it feels like you guys are going to get things accomplished. There might be a little bit of, cascade resistance from outside sources, but nothing that you guys can't just sort of go right through and get done what you need to get done in the month of August. Okay? So let's see what we got going on. Now, the first card kind of represents sort of where you're going to be operating at the majority of the month of August. Not the totality of the month of August, but sort of where you're resonating at most of August, like off and on. You'll go in and out of this state, let's say, throughout the month of August. So this is the Harvest card. This is the Knight of Worlds. Let me show this to you guys. This card is all about, it's similar to Pentacles in any traditional tarot deck. So it's all about sort of financial gain, money, things of a material nature. So this could also be like home, relationships, career, those sort of things, right? The material plane. So to me, it feels like you guys are so focused on your long-term goals. And it's interesting because Sagittarians are the archer, right? So you're always aiming for something in my mind. And this card definitely says your aim is up. You guys are looking at what you're doing now for what's going to happen in the future, right? You're like sort of planning in the month of August. You're sort of looking at and being consciously aware of the fact that whatever it is that I'm doing right now it could potentially, show back up or pay off later. And this sort of denotes like a financial payoff or like a career change or like starting of a business now in the month of August, or I don't know, maybe they're going back to school to learn a new skill. Some of you might be contemplating that, but whatever it is, it's going to like sort of like any sort of harvest, it's going to take its time, maybe 6 months, a year, but in 6 months or a year from now, there's going to be like an established good feeling. There is going to be a reaping of reward. There is going to be whatever it is you're putting into motion in the month of August. The fact that you're doing it so sort of consciously, I feel like in this card, with such sort of pinpoint aiming. And remember, I said in the shuffle that you guys felt very grounded, and that even though there was outside resistance, you weren't letting it get to you. You were kind of working your way through it pretty easily. It looks like you guys are building something for the future. Your focus is in the future all through the month of August. That's kind of where you're going to be at. And I love this card because it has all the different planets here. And it's definitely like a sort of a fall card. So it feels like the planets are kind of all working with you. The influences are working for you. So take heed in the fact that everything that you're doing now will come back to you later. Now, if there's a couple of you that have different planets in different houses that might, bring in other energies or other feelings, be aware of that too, because it is true for you Sagittarius. Whatever it is you're planting, you will be harvesting. So I want you guys to understand this overall feels like a positive card to me for the majority of the Sagittarians, but I do feel like I need to state, or I'm being, my guides are telling me I do need to state to some of you Sagittarius that might have planets in different houses where your thinking might be a little bit muddled, a little bit negative. Be careful what you're sowing. Be careful what you're putting into the ground. Be careful what ideas you're starting in the month of August, because they will come back and they will be harvested later. So you want to be clear and conscious. I have a feeling most of you guys are going to be pretty direct and pretty aware of where you're at, and it's going to be a positive thing. Yes, it's going to be work, but it will be positive work. But there might be a few of you that might be stuck in some sticky situations that you're not realizing you're necessarily creating something later down the road. So just be aware of that for those of you that might not be feeling super positive about your situation in the beginning weeks of August. Okay. The next card, this is sort of like the highest outcome for the month, like what we're sort of hoping for, or what we're kind of, if we like play our cards right, this is sort of where we're going to get to, right? So this is the Three of Crystals, and this is creativity. Crystals deals with the mind. And what I like about this card, it is all about sort of what I see in this Nine of Worlds, which is kind of taking creative ideas and planting those seeds and making them a reality. Getting ourselves up out of this muck and mire of what it is that we don't necessarily want in our life, what it is that's not working for us in our life, and getting up to the clarity and seeing the bigger picture up here and moving forward into like wide open options, all kinds of possibility, clarity, vision, being able to direct ourselves into our future the way we want to through creative thinking and through less of this bogged down sort of, oh, I need to do this because society says so, or oh, I need to do this because people ask me to, or do you see what I'm saying? This feels more weighed down on this lower half of the card. To me, the highest potential for you guys this month is to actually take your thoughts and move them up into a more broader thinking, broader-minded, open-minded, like dwelling in possibility, right? And seeing that the world is open to you, and anything that you do plant, you will harvest, right? So getting your mind in line with those thoughts, and this might be for some of the more negative thinking Sagittarius that are having a harder time seeing the positivity, this card would be really key to attain. But this is the highest sort of attainment for the month. Those of you that are on a more positive trip and you're aware that you know that everything that you are sowing, you are reaping at some point, you guys will have an easier time of coming up out of here and getting clarity and sort of seeing the bigger picture and being able to move forward with creative thought and the excitement that brings. The next card is your soul or spirit card, and sort of where it's going or working, what it's focusing on during this time. So let's see what that is. Interesting. So this is the Five of Worlds. This is setback. So this says to me that somewhere along the way, probably in the last year or so is my feeling, that a lot of you Sagittarians have had some issues or some situations that haven't quite worked out for you the way you thought that they would. They sort of fell apart, be it relationships, be it careers or job choices, friendships, whatever it was, they were setbacks. And I feel like you guys have strong resolve and you're able to bounce back, but your spirit is kind of trying to reposition you. This is always about sort of something kind of coming to an end so that we can sort of reposition ourselves in a way that better suits us, right? This card is sort of like a mini tower card in a way. This being in the spirit space says to me that whatever has gone wrong in the past, say in the last year or two, where things have sort of fallen apart or not been so great or really just kind of left you baffled, that's okay. Those setbacks were needed so that you could get to this place where you are now, which is this harvest card, right? This is this place where we consciously decide, okay, what is it that we want in our life? What seeds do we want to plant? Which direction do we want to go? And our highest goal is to actually really get creative in our thinking and really sort of manifest and direct our thoughts towards the bigger picture, towards the ideas that are exciting to us, and away from limiting things that weren't working for us, or situations that set us back or hurt us in some way, or didn't necessarily work out the way we thought that they would. It's totally okay. We needed those situations to kind of not work out. That's why this is in the spirit space. These situations needed to not work out so that we could get to this place where we could start to consciously sort of choose our path, if that makes sense to people. And this is an opportunity for you guys to sort of get in the driver's seat. And as fire signs, I think that you guys like to be in the driver's seat. And maybe in the last few months or year or so, you haven't felt as though you've been in the driver's seat. Due to situations that maybe felt like they were outside of your control or that were falling apart. That's what this card would represent. But I think that it's okay. This being in the spirit space says to me that your spirit is kind of fixing those, feelings, fixing those experiences, chronicling them, having learned from them, and filing them away. And you're moving on to newer and better experiences, right? And actual, conscious creation of them. Now, the next two cards are what I call sort of the influence cards. They have, they were meant to be, sorry, it's early, guys. And I haven't had enough coffee. These two cards are influences that are outside of us that we should be aware of that could be influencing us during the month of August. Okay, so one is the Hanged Man. This card is a major arcana card, so it usually has a lot of energy to it. To me, this card is always sort of about feeling a little bit stuck between two choices. I feel like when I look at this harvest card, we're aware that what we're doing the month of August is sort of going to affect us in the future. Some of the Sagittarius that are watching, and this is not for all of you, but for some of you, I feel like this energy here is this sort of fear. This is sort of this idea that if I choose the wrong thing, I could mess this up even more and end up with more setbacks. You're almost going to let the setbacks and the reminders of them dictate to you your how you go about choosing or which route you go about. You've been on a long path here. There's this long winding path and there's some broken glass and things like that. And this person feels like they're sort of hanging upside down. Some of you Sagittarius might be having a really hard time right now making a clear decision. And that's why the creativity card and this clarity in the mind and the Three of Crystals is sort of the penultimate goal of the month, is to really get clear on what it is you want and how it is you want it, because if you do that, you will start to harvest those seeds. You will bring that stuff in. So try not to let the fear come in. Try not to let the worry of making the wrong decision come in. At a certain point, you need to trust yourself. At a certain point, you need to remind yourself that these setbacks were actually, because this is in the soul space, they were actually needed to get you to where you are today, so that you can start to consciously create, so that you can start to consciously pick and choose where you want to be, who you want to deal with, how you want to live your life, right? So I would say be gentle with yourself, hold space for yourself, love yourself as much as you can through any sort of fear, doubt, worry that you might have around making a decision. Listen to that thunder, that God saying, yeah. So just be aware of that. That's something to be aware of. If the fear starts to kick in or the indecision starts to kick in, that's where you don't want to be. You don't want that to happen for you. Now, the other side of the coin, or the other influence here, which just feels a bit more positive to me, is the Child of Cups. This is the feeler card. This card is all about feeling the different, yes, the broad array of feelings, right? There's not like all happy children in here. There's some like blue down here in the water. There's some emotional. There might be some sadness. But during the month of August, this is about tapping into your feelings and feeling what feels good, what inspires you. If you find yourself in this hangman energy where you're feeling stuck or not sure which choice to make, I would say this would be a good counterbalance energy or a good place to go in your mind of being playful. Listen to that. Be playful. That sounds like the heavens are telling you guys this month. Be playful. Be playful, be like a child, be inspired, open your mind. This is that creativity card. This is where we want to open our mind and believe that anything is possible like a child would, and see how that feels, both on an emotional level and at the body level, because when we do that, magical things can happen, changes can happen, seeds can be sown like this harvest card that we don't even realize, and our world can sort of open up, and we can sort of let go of past mishaps, past setbacks, indecision and worry in the month of August, and really move forward with like some joy and some enthusiasm for what's about to come in the following months. Now, this last card is what I call the potential outcomes card. This card tells me sort of where things are gonna head with no major changes, right? So we have this highest goal card, right, of creativity and open-mindedness and really getting our mind to open up and be creative and see things, with much more possibility, right? But this card represents sort of the overall outcome of how the month will probably go, barring that nothing major changes. This card is not set in stone. It is used as a predictive card, but I want you guys to be aware that if it's something negative or that we don't want to see happen, we can use this card right now as a warning before going into the month of August, and we can change it. We have free will and choice. We can make the choices and changes to sort of not allow this card to come to pass, okay? And if it's a positive card, the beauty is that we just kind of keep things at the status quo, we keep moving forward in the energy that we're in, and keep doing what we've been doing, and this card will sort of naturally come to pass. Now, this card is the trust card. It's the Six of Wands. So this says to me you need to trust yourselves this month, guys. You need to believe in yourselves. This is a spiritual card. Wands deals with the spirit. Rely on your friends. Run your ideas by the people you love. Don't take too much of their information or their advice. Trust yourself and your own intuition. Remember that what you're doing is everything that you're doing now is coming to you later in the months to come. Stay as positive-minded as possible. Try not to get stuck in memories of other mishaps or things that have gone wrong. Those things went wrong so that you could get to this point, so that you could start to feel things and be aware of what inspires you and then actively chase that. Trust that inspiration and trust yourself. This is a beautiful card. If we just get to this trust place, then we can start to open up to this creativity. So the majority of you may reach this point in the month of August, at the end of August, but some of you might actually get beyond this and get to that creative thinking where you move yourself up and out of that negative thought, those negative thought patterns, and actually trust yourself and what you're creating and move forward like confidently, like the sort of the archers that you are, right? I see this picture of like sort of, the half man, half horse sort of trotting by proudly. So that's what this creativity card is for you guys. But this trust card is also beautiful because it's trust in oneself and trust in one's choices, trust in one's spirit, and it's like a connection to yourself that I think that with this Hangman and these setback cards in here, you guys have maybe had a little bit of a hard time doing in recent months because the outside environment has been kind of predicting to you, or maybe things have fallen apart here and there, right? Don't worry, they're going to stop falling apart when you stop focusing on the fact that you could make a wrong decision. There are no wrong decisions. You have to believe that everything we experience for a reason. Okay, you guys? So that is your August predictive. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please, I would love that. Leave me any comments or questions. If this did not resonate for you, you can always find another reader on YouTube. There's many brilliant readers. If you need a suggestion, comment, and I can send you to the people that I love to watch. And also remember to check out the video description after I upload. I will put in a song about that will be your theme song for the month of August. So when you're feeling, wishy-washy on your decision making, or feeling a little bit fearful about making the wrong decision, this song hopefully will give you inspiration and push you forward in a positive way to keep you going through the month of August and get you to this place of trust, and even more so to this place of creative thinking, where you're really consciously, actively creating that future, because that is totally where your energy is vibrating at for the month of August. All right, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon. Bye.